Everyone in this book should have died. Yeah? Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a pretty exciting video. I'm actually really excited to do this because I've never done it before on this channel, and yeah, it's going to be a bit different to the other videos I've done, and that is reading 1-star reviews of my favourite books. So we're going to be going through the books that I absolutely love, hold to my heart, you know, like God tier, okay? And we're going to look at people's 1-star reviews absolutely crapping on my books, okay? So it's definitely going to be interesting because, like, for me, like, the God tier books, I obviously, like, read them and I think, how could anyone review this 1-star? So it's going to be interesting. So I'm excited to look at these. I've never actually ever looked at 1-star reviews of, like, my favourite reads. So this is going to be a complete, you know, surprise to me. So yeah. As you can see, my dog is in the corner. He is a miniature sausage dog, or a mini dachshund, and he loves the sun. And there is a tiny little bit of sun on the pillow, and that is where he has, oh, he's stretching. Okay, so he's moving. So yeah, so my dog is likely to move around in this video, so just, you know, let him do his thing. Okay, so the first book we're going to be doing is The Secret History. This is like a dark academia thriller, kind of, but it's not a who's done it, it's a why they've done it. So literally the first, like the prologue, the first sentence is Bunny was dead in the mountains and blah blah blah. Like the part one is building up to Bunny's death, and then the second part is the aftermath of Bunny's death and how it affects all of the group. So good. If you haven't read it already, read it. People are saying that it's going to be like a modern classic because her writing is insane. We're going to look at Goodreads reviews, and then I'm also going to look on Fable as well because I use both apps. Okay, that's like a really complicated review and I can't be bothered to read all that. To be honest, if I wanted the thoughts of a bunch of classic... Let me try that again. To be honest, if I wanted the thoughts of a bunch of classist elitists who know dead classic languages, I'd just have dinner with my family. Okay. So I feel like they are described as being like kind of like pretentious. They are a very secluded group learning, you know, Greek mythology and the language and stuff, and I feel like it's kind of narrated in that way, like they are presented in that way, and it's kind of showing all of their flaws and stuff like that. Like I feel like that is in a way kind of point of the book. I mainly enjoyed this book because of the writing. Like I absolutely love the writing style. So I do kind of understand that, but at the same time I think that is kind of the point of the book. Everyone in this book should have died. Yeah, they were kind of all not bad people, but they all had their flaws, they all had their ways. Again, I can see that kind of point, but you know. The first sentence of this one is, what a load of pretentious bum poo. I've never heard of that, bum poo. Okay. Let's find one more and then we'll move on to another book on Fable. Yeah. You comfortable? Okay. DNF at 38%. Definitely not for me. It has a beautiful aesthetic, but it's beyond boring. I can understand that. Like I said, the aesthetic of it is like, the things in it are definitely kind of romanticized. Like, again, I think that's kind of... like the narrator is unreliable because he romanticizes things that shouldn't be romanticized, and like he romanticizes these people, and again I think that's just part of it. Like you're reading an unreliable narrator, but that's the interesting part of it and the part of it that kind of intrigues me. I can see why people could think it's boring, because it definitely, the writing style is that more of like a classic writing style. Like it's very like detailed and kind of flowery and stuff like that. Also the chapters in this, there's 5 chapters. and it's just 5 parts basically. There is no chapters, it's just 5 parts. So I can also see how that could make people find it boring. But yeah, I personally loved it. I'm planning on rereading it this year, but I want to do it more towards like October time when it's a bit more of like the setting for it. And I have like annotated the crap out of my copy, and I want to like re-annotate it again and like add more. But yeah, so I can understand people's opinions. I think it's definitely, you either love it or hate it. Like, I don't feel like there's any in between. And when you look at these reviews, they are like 5 and 4s, and then like the 1s. Like, there's not really many 3 stars. Okay, the next book we are going to look at is... let's do From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata, because I really love Mariana Zapata. However, I feel like Mariana Zapata is an author where you either love or hate her books. Her books are heavy slow burn. Like, you're mostly like 60-70% way through, and they are still like not near together. And I love that. Like, that is slow burn to me. I love that, okay? I love her books, I love her writing, I love her plots. I find her books so addicting. Like, there's something in the pages because I can't stop reading. Love her, but some people do not. I personally obsessed. But let's look at the reviews. Okay. This is he wants to go out. Go on, baby. This review. Wow, okay. They tortured me mentally in every possible way. I was boiled in oil. They burned me at the stake. I was trampled by an elephant. I was publicly executed twice and shot in the skull 4 times. What? Please, I tried so hard to get through it. Please, I tried so hard. I even tried to skim, but it was horrible. I hate this so much. Everybody better start censoring it. Wait, what? I'll hang myself before reading something from this author again. All of you liars talking about something, this book is so good. Liars. That was very passionate. By the way, half of that was in capital letters. Wow, okay. Definitely an opinion, a strong opinion. Personally, for me, I did not feel any of them emotions. I definitely did not feel like I was trampled by an elephant or burnt at the stake or shot in the head 4 times, personally. Wow. I just, like, for me, I think when you love a book so much, you, like, you don't understand, you, like, can't comprehend, how anyone could hate the book so much that you love. Like, it's impossible. I feel like it's very hard to imagine that. For, like, From Lukov with Love, I've tabbed the hell out of it. Like, I'm obsessed with the characters. I'm obsessed with the romance. The little crumbs, the slow burn, the grumpy sunshine, ice skating. Like, how? Like, I can't understand how someone can hate that so bad. But like, from what I've heard, the people just find it boring because they're saying obviously that the romance does not happen. Her books, by the way, are very long. They're like 500 pages plus every book, and for a romance that's really long. And if it was anyone other than Mariana Zapata, I would not read it because romances I don't think need to be that long. However, Mariana Zapata does. I would read a book that's 1,000 pages long from Mariana Zapata because I love them. DNF, the writing style just isn't for me. The main character isn't even likable, and the narration is so bad. Personally, the writing style I really like. I find it, like I said, I find it really entertaining. It's fast paced, with like always something going on that's kind of adding to the slow burn or adding to the character and stuff. Like, I personally really like it. I find her plots and stuff really nice. As for the main character, Jasmine, she is an ice skater. She's had like a really bad kind of like competition wise, like she hasn't really won anything. She's had bad partners, and she's a bit of like she is the grump and he is the sunshine. So it's kind of like a reverse kind of thing. I can understand, like, obviously she's a bit of a grumpy one. Like, you know, she has her moments, but also she has reasons for the way she is, like with her family, with like what she's been through and stuff, her partners and things. Like, she kind of has reasons to be reserved and be a little bit, like, unapproachable because of what she's experienced. And then as you go through the book, like, they said that they obviously DNF'd it. I don't know where they DNF'd it. But as you go through the book, you learn about her, you learn about why, and you see, like, her true self underneath the kind of, like, guard she puts up. So I can understand maybe from the start, but you have to actually read it to understand her character. And if you've DNF'd it and yeah, then, like, it's hard to understand, you know? And also, like, I feel like if it's an MMC and they're the grump and they're, like, unapproachable and reserved and they're mean and stuff, like, everyone loves that. But then, like, when it's the FMC and she's the grump, I feel like people don't really like that. But you just gotta wait. Like, why can we all wait for the MMC to finally, like, reveal himself and be soft and stuff? Like, you've got to wait for that for the FMCs as well, okay? You've got to let them... Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do the prison healer because this is a... Actually, no, I'm gonna do the blood traitor. Oh, wait, no, because that could have spoilers. No, the prison healer. No, because I can just pick non-spoiler things. Never mind, I'm doing the blood traitor. Okay, so I recently read the Prison Healer series, the trilogy. Just 2 seconds of silence. Amazing. 6 stars, every single one. 6 stars, God tier, immediately. I've been, like, trying to find that feeling in the fantasy books I've read afterwards, and they've just not matched. The characters, every single character, obsessed. Like, Jaren and Kiva... They're so good together. The plot, amazing. The setting, the magic system, everything, amazing. Anyways, we're going to look at reviews of The Blood Traitor on Goodreads. I feel like this is such an underhyped trilogy. Like, you need to read this trilogy. Move away, Bella Swan. Kiva is here to be the brooding, passive pining over her man, achieving nothing female lead. Oh, okay. Disagree. Harder disagree. Of course, like, obviously she's pining, she's yearning for him because she likes him. She likes him and they've had an issue and she wants him, but she can't have him, and so she's sad. I think that's kind of relatable. I'm actually deciding I'm going back to the prison healer because I feel like I'm going to spoil things and I don't want to spoil them. So I'm going back to the prison healer. I'm so tired of the same tropes repeating themselves over and over again. The plot twist was stupid and unoriginal that I actually ended up getting mad. The last line specifically enraged me because it was so ridiculous and obviously it only served to fulfill typical fantasy tropes. Why do books like this get published, and even worse, why do they sell? I feel like one thing, people say this a lot, is that romantasy, like, especially like the fantasy genre and especially romantasy, has the same repeated tropes constantly, which I agree with, they do, but that is just the genre. Like, the tropes are a part of the genre. Trials, tournaments, enemies to lovers, unique powers, what else? The, like, kind of morally grey MMC, dragons, who did this to you trope. It's always going to be those tropes. There is always going to be a repetitive amount of those tropes because they are within the genre. For that, I just think, honestly, I don't mind it because I love fantasy, I love romantasy, I love those tropes. So you could give me 1,000 books, I will enjoy those books because I love those tropes. And I think, of course, they're always going to be the same and sometimes they can feel a bit repetitive, but most books obviously have different characters, they have different settings, they incorporate the tropes differently. But I think that's just something that you've kind of got to accept, like with reading. There are going to be similar books, but I think for that, try a different genre. Try romance, try thrillers. Then when you feel like getting back into the fantasy mood, you can go back and you'll most probably enjoy it better because you've had a bit of a break from those tropes. The plot twist, I didn't see it coming. I can see why other people might have seen it coming. I personally didn't. I didn't even like think about it at all. So it did shock me, and I love when a plot twist shocks me, but I do understand when you see a plot twist coming, it's very disappointing. I can understand that. But I don't think it was, like, yeah, maybe it was unoriginal, as in, again, it's a trope that's highly done, but I thought it was cool, and it obviously added things to the story, added things to the plot, and it led us into the next one perfectly. So I have to disagree with the plot twist, and again with the tropes, that is just something that is going to happen within the genre, unfortunately. Why is it so hard for authors to not write insta love? Like, why is that so hard? Disagree. Hard disagree. There is like instant attraction, as in like she thinks he's, you know, kind of nice, which I think there's nothing really wrong with that, because you can instantly be attracted to someone. But the insta love is in no way. It's like insta attraction, as in she freaking saw him and was like, woo! But that's it. Because then she hates him. So how is that insta love? You know what I mean? And also, I don't want to spoil things, but it's not really a spoiler, because I don't want people to be put off by this review and saying like, oh, it's insta love, I'm not reading it. They don't really even get together until the end of the second book. Like, that's how much the romance builds. They essentially are not even really together until the third book. Like, that is no way insta love. Yeah, they might find each other attractive, but then she goes to hating him, and he kind of has to like build her trust and whatnot, and he helps her throughout her time in the prison. That's it. Like, and then it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. There's obviously conflict. It builds and builds and builds and builds. Blah. There, like, trust me, there is no insta love whatsoever. So I hard disagree on that one, because that one's just not true. No. Oh yeah, by the way, disclaimer, like, these one-star reviews, I respect them. I understand reading is subjective. People can have their different opinions. That is the art of reading. I have my opinions, you have your opinions. All love. What? What? Torture porn? What does that even mean? That's so funny, because someone replied to the review and was like, did we read the same book? I have no idea where the torture porn is, because there is none. Wow. Okay. Torture porn, triggers galore, so much violence towards women, a problematic love interest, self-harm made to seem helpful. Okay, first of all, yeah, there's no torture porn. Second of all, it's a YA, so there's like no porn at all. Third of all, triggers galore. Again, I'm not trying to hate or anything, but like, if you have things that you could be triggered by, then you should likely read triggers before you read the book. Like, look into the triggers, research the triggers. If you have things that you know you could be triggered by, then really you need to be researching into the book before you read the book. I feel like that's something you can't really blame the book for. I think that's something you need to research before you read it. So much violence towards women. I would just like to say that she is in a prison, as a prison that she's been in for 10 years, where the guards are all men and they are not nice men. There is definitely, you know, bad things happening within the prison, but it's a death sentence. It's a bad, overrun, badly run prison. Like, that's part of the plot, the setting, the mood. It is bad. It is a dangerous place to be in. So again, I don't really get that. And then the problematic love interest, I don't really understand how he was problematic. The self-harm made to seem helpful. She does literally acknowledge her self-harm and says that it was wrong and that, you know, she needed to stop it. She needed to heal herself. Like, she acknowledges that. So again, I don't really understand how, yeah, I completely disagree with that review. And again, I don't see how you got that from the book, but, you know, okay. Right, back to Fable. Let's do... Let's do my first ever favourite ever read, which is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This was my first ever, like, God tier book. So this is going to be interesting. The plot and, like, the world building in this is definitely a little bit more detailed, because there's lots of things going on and, like, lots of things you have to understand to continue through the series. I personally was obsessed with the romance in this one, like obsessed. I love this couple. I am obsessed with them. Basically this is about Poppy, who is like a maiden to the kingdom, which basically means that she will be she goes to an ascension where she has to be deemed like worthy by the gods, and to be deemed worthy by the gods, like she cannot be touched, she cannot be talked to, she cannot, you know, she has no life basically. She's completely like, what's the word? Isolated? That's not the word I was looking for, but it'll do. Yeah, she's completely isolated from everything. And then we get Hawk, who is her new like guard, and you know, she kind of gets some feelings for him, and she starts to learn things about her kingdom and stuff, and she doesn't know whether she wants to do this ascension anymore, and she kind of has to battle this decision about her future and everything. So yeah, it's really good, really, really good. Someone's put, Jesus didn't die for this. And in their like, you can, on Fable you can kind of tag certain things, like if it's spicy, if it was well written, if it was fast paced, blah blah blah. And they've put abuse and bad writing. Bad writing, I personally really liked the writing. I think it was fast paced, it was entertaining. I found that everything was explained well, like I got it, like I understood. Abuse, again, it's a fantasy, you know what I mean, like there's gonna be violence, there's gonna be abuse, there's gonna be enemies to lovers, you know what I mean, like, yeah. The plot was cool and interesting. The characters for the majority of the book were thought out and executed well. Then you get to the end and it's an effing dumpster fire. I actually cried out of pure rage. Like they said, the plot was cool and interesting, yes. The characters were thought out, yes. I actually really liked the ending. It had like a bit of a plot twist. Everything kind of went chaotic, but fantasy books usually do. And I loved the ending. I loved how it went. And yeah, I don't know. I really liked the ending. And it immediately made me want to read the next one. So I have to disagree out of that one. I'm sorry that you cried out of rage. Hated this book. I'll never listen to TikTok again. Anyone who liked this has to be like 15. It gave such a poorly written Wattpad vibe. I'm gonna be completely honest. I read this when I was like 15. When I first started reading, I was in like year 9. So I think how old was I in that year 9? So when I read this, I was 14. And I just turned 14 in November, and I read this in February. That's so funny. Literally called me out. Yes, I was 14. And yes, I did read Wattpad before I got into reading. I read Wattpad all the time before I got into reading, specifically Hermione. You know what? Loud and Proud. I love Hermione. I definitely read things that was most probably not really age kind of appropriate. Like I read like The Auction, most probably at like 13. I think a lot of people did though. So I read this at 14. And I came from Wattpad, so I suppose that could be right. However, I've read her books now, like her more recent ones, and I still really enjoy them. I've reread From Blood and Ash and I still love it. For me, I don't really mind too much if it does give Wattpad vibes, as long as it's still decent and it's not like I'm reading like a 12-year-old's writing. I don't really mind. But I definitely don't think it's Wattpad vibes. It's very fast paced, it's heavy on the romance, but I think everything is really like well fleshed out and written. Like I didn't feel that way. But yeah. God, let this be my lesson learned not to take recommendations from BookTok ever again. This one, I feel like we see this a lot on like TikTok lied. We've already read a few where it's like TikTok recommendations, blah blah blah. This is, like I said, this is rated like, what did I say, 4.14 star review out of 5. That is a very high review. Like it's not highly rated for no reason. Like people are not putting out 5-star reviews for a giggle, you know. I didn't put out a 5 I didn't put it in my god tier like list for a laugh, you know. So when people say that, it's just like, it's just, again, it's just different people's tastes and opinions. Like, people may rave about it on TikTok and someone might get the recommendation from TikTok and read it and absolutely love it. Just like me, I'm pretty certain I got my recommendation from TikTok. I bought the book, I loved it. People may get the recommendation and buy the book and hate it. That is just reading. So yeah, if you want to feel like that, feel like that. But part of recommendations is some people may like them, some people not. That is just, unfortunately, that is just what happens. Okay, I'm going to move on from this one, and I think I'm going to do one more. So we could do Alchemized, They Just Add Air, Song of Achilles, Caught in Mist and Fury, Ignite Me, Love on the Brain. Let's do Alchemized, because I don't see where this could be hated. Maybe people couldn't get through it. Like, they couldn't, it's like 1,000 something pages long, 1,030 pages long. This is if you haven't heard about this book, it was originally a Dramini fan fiction between Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger. Manacled, the original one was called Manacled. It was on Wattpad, AO3 and whatever, and it's in the Harry Potter universe, obviously, but it's as if Voldemort wins and in not Harry Potter. So it does, obviously, during the war, them losing, and then the aftermath of them losing. But Senlin Yu took that down and then made her own world. So it's different characters, different world, different magical system. Yeah, so it's her own universe now, and it is insane. Insane. The writing, the plot, it's separated into 3 parts. So there's like the present, the past, and the present, and there's so many parallels. I tabbed the crap out of this book. If I have a picture, I'll insert it on the screen. It was insane. Absolutely insane. So you need to read this. Like, if you haven't read it, do not let the pages intimidate you, because it is worth every single page. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm just actually shocked by this review. Not only is this badly written with over exposition, the world building is disconnected and all over the place. None of the million side characters are interesting. The attempt to create a magic system based on alchemy does not work. There is zero structure to the magic system, and it's not nearly as profound as the book wants you to believe. Okay, let's dissect that. Let's dissect that. Badly written. That's all. That's it. With the world building is disconnected and all over the place. Guys. It's obviously 1,000 pages. There is a lot of world building. There is a lot of magic system building. There's a lot of laws. There's a lot of things going on. I personally understand everything. I loved everything. Yeah, wow. Like, this is again a book where for me, I cannot comprehend someone hating it that much to give it 1 star. Like, it's one of those where I just don't get it. I don't see eye to eye. I respect, but I don't see eye to eye. Wow, okay. None of the million side characters are interesting. There is lots of side characters, and I think while they're most probably not all likable, for me, this isn't really a spoiler, because it's just a general kind of thing. I'm not explicitly saying anything, but there is the kind of the good side that Helena is on. Her friends, I did not like them. They're complicated. They have flaws. They have lots of depth. The side characters, I definitely do not think they are like non-interesting. They definitely are. There's definitely many different like sides to them, and like I said, flaws and stuff that makes them who they are. Definitely, I wouldn't definitely not say that they are not interesting though. I can understand why people may not like them, but I also think that is part of the book. Oh, hello. Hi. Where have you been? Yeah. Hi. Right, I had to go downstairs real quick because there was someone at the door. I don't know where I put my phone. well, I guess that means we're done because it'll be downstairs somewhere and I'm gonna go downstairs soon anyway. So yeah, this is my first time doing this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see more, or if you want to see maybe like 5-star reviews and my 1-star reviews. Like I said in this video, reading is subjective. You may hate the books I love, you may love the books I hate. That is just what happens with reading. Of course, I disagreed with all of the reviews today because I loved the books, but I totally respect other people's opinions. I totally respect that other people may not like what I read, and that's how everyone should be, okay? So if you disagree with anything I said, then I totally understand that, but you know, that is the art of reading. So yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed this and if you want any more like this, then please let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.